Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Tarah Green, roaming the Pacific Northwest wild and free. And earlier this year, I came to the Ashland area in Oregon, southern Oregon, after meeting some friends in Mexico at Acapulco who have land here, and so I came to connect with them. While I was at their land, I helped them plant their garden. And there were two very large beds that I planted. One of them was full of sweet potatoes, 22 plants. And the other bed full of bush beans, 28 plants. That's a lot of food. That can produce a lot of food. I came back to visit later in the year. It's now June. So I came to see the plants and see how things were doing, and they were doing all right. They weren't doing the greatest. They weren't as happy as they could have been. And I heard from the landowner who I planted the garden for that he decided he is never going to eat sweet potatoes or bush beans ever again. So he was going to shut the water off to them so that they would die within 3 days. And when I heard this, I was really devastated. I was really sad because as a permaculture principle, we capture and store energy and utilize what we have, as well as earth care, people care, fair share. And this was a lot of food that had already grown for several months. Somebody cared for it when it was just a seed, starting it as a seedling, allowing it to sprout and grow, and now it's June and they've spread their roots into these beds and we're beginning to flower. The beans were flowering and the sweet potato vines had been stretching out and soon would be getting their roots all full of a nice, yummy, sweet, starchy potato. It's estimated that 40% of Americans' food goes to waste, ends up in landfills. And there was all these plants that had grown, and they're a life. They're a life that could feed so many other lives. So I tried to convince this guy to keep growing the plants even if he wasn't going to eat them, because someone would. I told him that I eat them and that other people do, that there's food banks and there's elderly and there's around 700 or 800 homeless people in Ashland, and this is a really big spot where people live out of their vehicles. So yeah, I tried to convince him to just keep growing the plants, but he didn't want to. These plants were going to die. The next best thing I could do, other than letting them die, is to dig them up and find new homes for them. It's a little bit late in the season to be planting. It's like June 17th or 18th now. And the plants would be ideally most happy just staying where they've already spread their roots, but they still could potentially produce a lot of food if they had homes. So I began looking. I put out a post on Facebook and I attempted to put a post on Craigslist, but Craigslist requires phone numbers now and I don't have or use a phone. So I have some friends up in Eugene area who were happy and willing to take the plants, but it's a 3-hour drive and I don't plan on going back to Eugene until July. So I just kept looking and searching for people in the Ashland area, and I had a few people contact me and say they'd be willing to take some starts. So there was still a lot of plants that needed homes. I dug them all up today and put them in boxes, and I drove to the farmer's market and I rolled up the back door of my box van and I brought all the plants out and I sat there, and when people would walk by I would just say, hey, free plants, sweet potatoes, bush beans, and a lot of people wanted to come talk to me because my box stand looks really cool. So I had people coming up to me just to talk, and then I had several people who were excited and willing to take plants. So I was able to rehome most of the plants today. A few of the memorable people who took plants for me today, there was a guy named Richard who is part of Ashland Food Angels, I think it's called, and he's part of a voluntary group of people who they save food and they redistribute it to the elderly and people who are hungry. And that's really similar to what I'm passionate about doing, saving food and redistributing it one way or another. And so it was great meeting him, and he took a really big box of sweet potatoes and bush beans, and he's going to plant them, and then he's going to give the food away to elderly who are hungry. So I'm super happy about that those plants are going to get to live and to help contribute to a lot of other people's lives. Yeah, and he gave me 3 really yummy bundles of greens, 2 big bundles of kale, and a yellow Swiss chard. So that was super sweet to get something in return for what I was doing. And there was this woman who works the farmer's market. Her and her partner have been on a piece of land for 3 years, and they mostly focus on raising meats, and they don't really consider themselves to have green thumbs. So I told them about the sweet potatoes, and they were excited to try growing them, and they took 10 sweet potatoes plants, and so yeah, I really hope they have success with it, and I was excited to make that connection. And then there was a few other people who took a few plants here and there, and it was just really nice to see everyone stepping up and caring about growing their own food, and now they have plants that they're going to nurture and that are going to nurture them in return and provide food for them. So I feel really, really glad that all of those plants, most all of them, got rehomed. I still have a few. I put a couple in pots that I'm going to try growing in my box stand, but it can be a little difficult to get a consistent amount of sunlight and fresh air for the plants depending on where I'm parking. And I have a few of the bush beans left that I'm thinking I'll just guerrilla garden somewhere lush if I can't find homes for them by the end of the day. It felt really nice to meet all those people, to rehome a bunch of plants, and it's really beautiful being here in Ashland. Nourish myself in some cool water, and it feels nice to be in the shade. You can follow more of my adventures on omensofalchemy.com and find my Facebook page, Omens of Alchemy, or on Instagram, or on Minds. Blessed be, stay wild and free.